Hey y'all, we were in the midst of a big canning session and we ran out of propane. So I'm loading up all these kids that are following me to the van to make a hopefully super fast trip into town because, as you know, our van doesn't have air. Not only does it not have air, when it gets warmed up, it actually blows heat. So the heater automatically kicks in. So we've been trying not to drive it. We haven't driven it all week. But we're headed into town to see if we can find any canning lids, and because I'm running out of those too. And to see if we can swap out our propane tanks, fill them up, whatever, so we can get to putting up the rest of that corn. Here's a quick peek at my jungle of a garden. You guys, I have not had a chance to get out there because the heat index in Tennessee has been over 100 for the past like 4 or 5 days. It's literally like crazy, crazy hot here. Okay guys, it's hot and sweaty and loud in here. The kids are, actually the baby is the most fussy. But I wanted to show you something that we got because Abby has to open the packages as soon as we get them. So I wanted to show you what we got in the mail. Isn't that cool? It is oldish. That is a Redding apple peeler. My friend Jennifer from Rekindled Roots Homestead suggested that, and she bought hers at Lehman's. I think it's a newer model, but Lehman's is sold out, and you know, COVID, the whole craziness that our world is in, all of the preserving food things, all of the sustainable living things are sold out everywhere. But I found that for 50 bucks on Etsy, and I usually use the old, or the newer, you know, hand crank one. I'll show you when we get home, but it's a pain. It's very, very frustrating. We have 2 of them and they are frustrating and they don't do a very great job. So I got that one, and I think it's gonna be great for us this year because we do a lot of apples. I buy a ton of apples in bulk. Sorry, I'm sweating. And we peel them like crazy. So with 3 of them now, we'll get a ton done to be able to put up more for the winter, or the rest of the year, really. So we got all the things we needed to get in town. We got propane, I got a bag of alfalfa for the cows to eat at the stanchion, and we got some stuff for lunch because, as you guys know, our kitchen is totally torn apart, so we have to get like quick, easy foods for me to make because cooking outside in this heat is a little bit too much for me. So we got things like lunch meat and just to make tortilla roll-up wraps, just as convenient without the convenience. You know what I mean? Like, it's not drive-through. I still have to make like sandwiches and stuff, but it's cool and it is quick. So we're headed home to make some lunch. Okay, we're back home now. We have a messy RV to clean up and some corn we were gonna process, but the more I look at it, hold on Asher, the more I realize that it is pretty dried out. We were actually, because we're running really low on lids, we were actually just going to blanch it and then skin it off the cob and put it in freezer bags. even though I have very limited freezer space. That's what we were gonna do with it. But truthfully, the more I look at what's left, it's really not that great. I think this was a bag that we had bought from the Amish that had been picked a couple days before we bought it, because the kernels are dry. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that. The kernels are dry and they're just looking pretty funky. So I think, honestly, I just don't even know if I'm gonna waste my time and my resources because they're looking pretty shady. I just don't even know if I am going to waste the propane and the time on those. Brandon says just feed them to the pigs. We got a ton. We already did process a ton. I think we processed like 15 quarts of kerneled corn and then like at least 2 gallons Ziploc bags. I think even more than that, probably like 4 gallon Ziploc bags of just frozen corn. So I think we're just gonna give that to the pig and make lunch and chill for the rest of the day. First day in like a week of not canning. Yep, that's probably good. We would just stop. We're out here cooking dinner now, or getting dinner ready, and we're just gonna have kind of like a black bean chili. It has some homegrown chicken stock in it with some locally raised pastured pork sausage and just some peppers and onions from our garden, and then our spices that we buy in bulk from Azure Standard. We're using chili powder, salt, cumin, garlic powder, and I think that's it. Just a super simple chili recipe. The kids are opening up a can of diced tomatoes that we're gonna toss in here, and we're just gonna let it simmer all night or all evening until Dad gets home from work. And then once he's home, we are going to serve that with some chips on the side. Just a super easy dinner that we can cook outside to keep our house cool, and because our kitchen is out of commission. But I thought I'd take this couple of minutes just to explain to y'all why I am canning in a camper and trying to put up in a camper when we live off-grid and in this crazy situation, because I get a lot of those comments on Instagram. Why do you even bother? Like, that's a lot that you're adding to your plate. And it is, guys. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot to try and put up enough food, or even a little bit of food, for a family our size in the living situation that we're in, especially because we don't have a kitchen right now. And we are off-grid and we live in a tiny little space. But I was really nudged, I guess. My heart was really, oh, there goes the generator. I was really impressed on my heart. I was really impressed on my heart by the Lord to just put by as much as we can, even though it's difficult, even though it's challenging, even though I'm not feeling great. I'm actually feeling better. Thank you guys all for the prayers. Even though it's hard right now and the space is limited, whether it's freezer space or shelf space or prep space, he really put it on my heart to just do what I can. Get those skills honed in and get those jars put up, because winter's coming. My grandma would always tell me that construction business, the construction industry, is feast or famine. We grew up, my dad was in construction, all my uncles were in construction, and in the summer, you have a lot of work because the weather's good and people want to get their projects in before the weather turns. Actually, California, it's like always good weather, but the jobs come in droves, I guess. Like, it comes in clumps where you're super busy and you just can't get it, you know, you can't get your head above water because people just want to get all their projects done. And then there's times, even in California, where there's dry spells and you just can't get the next job, or you get outbid, or whatever the situation is. Construction, it's just feast or famine. And especially here in Tennessee, we get bouts of heavy rain and even freezing temperatures. So when we have the work, Brandon has to work, and he's been working a lot. We've had a lot of days where he hasn't come home until 9:30 and 10 o'clock at night because he has to get a slab ready for pour the next day, or he has to make sure footings are dialed in, or whatever it is. He is the concrete guy, and so he has to make sure the work's done, and he works hard. And I want to do my part, and I may not be able to work outside the home and bring in a paycheck, but the Lord has pressed him on my heart, and I've gleaned from other moms, and it's been confirmation from moms like Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, that what we grow is almost like growing money. So if we can grow produce, or if I can put by jars of food, that's like money in the bank for my husband, like a bonus for the winter when work is slow and we need meals. We won't have to go to the grocery store. And I participate in her challenges, so this summer we're gonna start participating in the Every Bit Counts challenge and just put by little everything that we can. And then come winter, we're gonna do our best to participate in the no spend challenge. I forget what she calls it, where it's the pantry challenge, where you just eat out of your pantry. So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I know it looks crazy, and I know it's adding to my plate that is already crazy full, but I honestly do love canning. It brings joy to my heart. It is added stress a little bit, but it does bring joy to my heart because I love cooking and I love providing for my family. And the Lord was just like, this is one way you do provide, and you're doing a good job. It was like confirmation from my father. So that's why I do what I do. All right, guys, I'm gonna get this dinner covered and simmering. And I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. It was kind of a wonky day, but thanks for spending time with us. We'll see you on the next one.